Hello, my name is Edgar Zapata, and I will be running your virtual solutions platform training today. Thank you so much for agreeing to do the 60-day free trial offering for CodeMeet. I'm a business development manager here at SHL, and I specialize in the Aspiring Minds solutions, specifically the video solutions, which include SmartMeet, CodeMeet, as well as AutoView. So the agenda for today's call is going to be, I'm going to provide a high-level overview of all of our video interview offerings, and then we'll do a deep dive into the CodeMeet platform training. I'm going to show you how to log in. We're going to go ahead and do some examples of scheduling within CodeMeet. I'm also going to show you how to do choose from the question bank as well as a custom question. And then we can also show you how to do a bulk upload for if you were to do bulk upload for a variety of candidates. And then there will be some additional slides just to talk about next steps. And then if you have any additional questions, to reach out to your commercial manager that got you set up on this 60-day trial. So as I mentioned earlier, did want to provide a high-level overview of all of our video solutions that we are doing. Obviously, things have really changed in the current landscape, and I think a lot of questions that I often get from clients is, that their organization is trying to figure out, how ready are they from a digital perspective. Obviously, digitization has really touched upon many different areas, including the HR, talent acquisition space. So I think it's probably more important than ever to have a video interviewing platform use case scenario. So from that very top perspective, that's going to be, we do have a live video interview option. So that's going to be a live synchronous interview platform where you're able to, on the fly, create a live interview between a candidate and recruiter. You could have multiple people on that platform. It could be up to 10 people. So let's say you have 5 interviewers and then 5 interviewees. You could do that, or you could have 1 interviewer and 10 candidates, or excuse me, 9 candidates. So that's going to be one of the functions as well. And then we also have our coding interview, which is what we'll be doing a deep dive from a training perspective today. And that's going to be our CodeMeet solution. And that's going to be a programming simulation within a live interview environment. Additionally, you can have multiple people within the interviewing side. So if you have multiple interviewers, and then you would have that coding candidate. And you get a feel for what that coding candidate is doing in real time, because you're going to be able to see what type of coding they're doing, etc. You can also do some whiteboarding. You can provide some hints. And then additionally, you can take some notes, which it's viewable only to the interviewers. And so you do have that type of capability. So this solution is really intended to replace an on-site technical screen, which can now be done remotely with this piece as well. The last one is going to be our one-way video interview, and that's also known as our AutoView solution. So that's going to be an on-demand asynchronous video interview that provides a really great candidate experience, given, again, how the world has really truly changed. And a lot of times this use case scenario for this one-way video interview is where an organization, perhaps they have a few different a ton of candidates that they need to go through. This would be a one-way video interview where you beforehand set up the interview questions, and you send them out to the candidates, and then it's recorded. And so then at that point, once they complete it, then you would get to be able to provide feedback, and you can watch it on your own time, whichever makes sense for you. Let's go ahead and move next to our actual platform training. So I'm going to go ahead and move screens right here. So I'm going to go ahead and actually really quickly just log out so I can actually show you from the login perspective from the very first step. So give me one moment as we get there. So you should have been given a login credentials, and so it will provide you with the username and password. You simply go to log in. After that, you enter your username and password, and then you press, again, login. At that point, then it's going to bring you to the initial platform. You'll see on the front page is going to provide you with some helpful information in case you want to review kind of how many you've scheduled, how many are completed, if you have any in progress, etc. And so there are a couple other features. Obviously, we do have a whole slew of different solutions beyond our video interviewing solutions. And I did want to take a quick moment just because I know this is a question that has commonly come up as it relates to CodeMeet. A lot of times clients have been really interested in, obviously being able to do the interview while there's a coding simulation. A lot of times clients are also interested if we have any type of solution that is able to test on almost an assessment on their coding abilities. And we do have a solution called Automata. That's going to be an AI-powered coding simulation, and it can code up to 50 IT languages, or you can force them to code in one particular language, everything from C++, Java, etc., and you would select from that drop-down menu. So if there is interest in that, feel free to let us know as well. Again, refocusing on our main objective today, which is going to be training on our CodeMeet platform. So it's pretty easy on the left-hand side. Again, you would focus on the CodeMeet section. And then you'll see that you've got an option to do a start interview. You can do a configure and schedule, and then my interview. So my interviews are going to be the ones that you've already created. The configure and schedule is going to be the ones that you're going to be creating. And then the start interview is going to be if you want to create an on-the-fly interview of a coding interview right away. So we're going to go ahead and start with that one because I think that one will be pretty quick. And so we'll go through that one really quickly here. So you can title it. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and keep this one titled Interview with Edgar Zapata. Do you want to select a select an existing configuration? So in this case, we'll go ahead and select yes. So this is if you've already selected a few different, in my case, I've already have a few demo examples in there. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and select that Python CodeMeet demo. And the other ones you could do, the other option would be no, you can select no and add questions on the fly, which could be a little bit more work, but that's always an option as well. So a lot of times clients will use the option of already selecting from an existing configuration. And we'll go through creating a configuration in this presentation as well. So I'm going to go ahead and press start. So this is it. For example, you would use this if you are, maybe you want to do the coding simulation right away, and let's say that the technical resources available right away. So you want to maybe do that right on the fly. You're going to go ahead, this is from the recruiter perspective. So it's going to ask for permission to your microphone and webcam. So I'm going to go ahead and agree, and then I'm going to press allow and proceed. And at that point, then it's going to go ahead and release or turn on the camera. And then it's going to provide you with some helpful hints here. So you can see if you want to invite interviewers or candidates. It's going to show you if you want to chat with the candidates here. That's going to be that chat box right here. So it does a really great job explaining that. And then if you want to also add an additional question, so we've already, because this was already pre-configured, you could still add some additional questions later on in the process as well. And then you can also send some hints to the candidates. So that's another functionality that's pretty used in these type of interviews as well. And then you also have a whiteboard, and that's pretty great because it's a great way to see and be able to do some different drawings or different type of connection pieces if that's the way that the interviewer or the candidate wants to whiteboard in that way. And then you also have comments. And so this is the comment section, and the notes is going to be viewable only to those are going to be the interviewers or the people that are going to be because this can be recorded. And so if there's someone that wants to review the interview on their own time, they're also able to review those notes as well at a later time. And then you'll also be able to see some test cases, and you'll also be able to check for stylistic errors, which can look at those stylistic errors in real time as well during the interview. So we're going to go ahead and show what that looks like really quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can start my video here. Give me 1 second. Just to show you how it functions. So obviously right here, this is where the candidate would be. That's myself right there. So you can see me in the little small screen. And then the candidate would be typing in, this would be the candidate, but in this case, they would type in their code. This is the question on the left-hand side. You'll see I'm not a Java or Python person, so unfortunately I won't be able to answer this question, but they would be putting in the information as they see necessary. Then you can press run and go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this because I did just want to show you in case you ever were interested in setting up an interview on the fly for that coding interview piece. So let me go ahead and close out of this and get back to the regular platform. I'm going to go to configure and schedule because this is probably one of the more commonly used areas where they would do this. So you go to configure and schedule. You would then select CodeMeet. Once you get to CodeMeet, then let's say, for example, you have a configuration already for, let's say you have a Python position or a Java position. So I'm going to go ahead and do enter Python, let's say requisition, let's say demo requisition 10. And then it's going to be a Python type position. So you look and see which job role it fits. Now these are already kind of these are already created job roles, but of course, if there isn't one that meets your needs, you can simply select other and then enter your own job role. But for the simplicity purposes, we're going to go ahead and just select one of these ones. I'll go ahead and select backend developer for Python. And then I'm going to go ahead and suggest predefined questions. So these are going to be, if you want to do, again, that structured interview setting, you'll see, again, I do have the option to simply do the CodeMeet. You know, I already have some tests, some pre-decided questions in there, or I can go ahead and create my own questions. So you'll see it says new test. In that case, it'll just be what we talked about, which is creating your own. So then you would enter, you know, let's say Python test demo. You would then go ahead and select, let's say 60 minutes. At that point, then you would go ahead and add a question right here. So from here, you can either create your own question or add from the question bank. Again, I'm not a technical person, so in this case, we're gonna go ahead and just do add from the question bank, because that will be the easiest. So we can go ahead and go into the AM question bank, and you would simply, since we're testing on Python, you can do a search and see what type of Python related questions there are. You can see there's quite a few. So I'm just going to go ahead and, just for simplicity purposes, select the top two. But you could also get more information on what is really behind the scenes on this. So you can see right here. So if someone's a technical recruiter, this would show up how it would, you'll see this in there. And that might be helpful for, again, for those people that are maybe the actual technical recruiter. At that point, I've already selected those two questions, and I would simply select add. After I select add, then I would want to select these two right here, and then move them to category 1. Oops, and I forgot I need to add the coding language right here. So select, we're testing for the Python piece right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and move to category 1. And then I am going to, you can enter as much descriptions as you, if you want to put some additional information here, you can add a description again, right? So Python, I'm just gonna do demo test. Then I'm gonna go ahead and save and release. All right, and then are you sure you want to release the test? And it's yes. At that point, we can go back here, and it's going to be available. You'll see in a second that it's available. So let's say that, again, that Python demo rec 10, we said it's a Python position. Then I'm going to select this, and now it's in there. So the Python test demo. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. And then you are looking, this is if you decide what are the parameters of evaluation that you want to select from. So we're going to be evaluating, let's say, Python, right? Maybe you also want to take a look at maybe some of their communication skills, or that's something that you're going to be taking a look at. So then you would then schedule now. At that point, then it gives you the option to title the interview. So maybe it's like interview, interview for Python rec 10, and then you can select a date and time, say rec 10, and then let's say Edgar Zapata. Then you can select a date and time, and at that point you would select whatever date and time. Obviously, just for today, because this is going to be a lot easier, I'm going to go ahead and just put a random weekend, because this will go to my calendar, so I'd rather fill out my weekend calendar versus thinking that this is actually a real meeting on my calendar. So let me go ahead and do that. You'd select the amount of time that you think that the interview would last. So I'm going to go ahead and put an hour. Now, it's important to note, if it does go over an hour, that's not a problem. It would simply continue going. The system wouldn't stop working at that point. So there's nothing to worry. Then you can select your time zone. And then you get to select also who are the people that are going to be the interviewers. So I'm going to go ahead and put myself. course, you can add additional people in there as well if you want to add additional evaluators. Additionally, you also, if they're not already in the system, you can also add another evaluator, interviewer on the fly. So you'd enter their name, their username, email ID, and their phone number. When entering the phone number, you do want to enter it without just the digits, nothing else, because it does not recognize the hyphen. So that will be much easier. And then it's going to send them their login credentials to them. The system will email that to the other interviewer if they're not in the system. At that point, then you can enter the candidate's name. So I'm going to go ahead and put my personal email address in there. And then you have the email, the notification that goes out. And then I did want to focus, before we go to the next step of scheduling, I did want to highlight one area really quickly as well. You'll see on the right-hand side, on the top right here, there is the bulk upload data piece. There are some scenarios where clients of mine will often want to do, they already have a whole slew of candidates. Let's say it's 50 candidates. They have their name, their email address, their last name, their phone number, etc., and then maybe the time in which the allotted coding interview is going to be at. You do have the option to enter a CSV or upload a CSV or Excel file, and there are instructions on there. There's a sample file on there, and it's all pretty self-explanatory to do that as well if that's an option that you want to do. At that point, then we go ahead and select schedule. And then you'll see at this point, the email will be sent to the candidate. And then there was also an email sent to the interviewer or the interviewers. And then you also have the option to immediately add this to your calendar via Google or Outlook. And if you maybe forgot to invite someone else that you wanted to be an interviewer, you can just copy and paste that into an email and send that out. Perfect. Let me go ahead and toggle back over, and that really completes the piece on the scheduling an interview within the CodeMeet piece, as well as setting up the jobs and then how to pick your own questions from the question bank or to do your own question as well. Let me go ahead and go back to the last piece that I did want to cover today. So again, we really appreciate you taking the time to be part of this 60-day trial to use our video solutions, especially CodeMeet. We're really excited to provide this offering at this point in time, given all the changes that have really occurred in the business landscape. So having these type of video solutions, we did want to make them available to all of our clients, as well as those people who aren't our clients, but definitely need this type of solution in the interim. So a commercial contact will be reaching out to you here in the near future within the next week or so to set up a time to do some check-in calls. We do just want to make sure that you are, if you have any questions, of course, or anything else that we can help with, we want to make sure that we get that information to you. And then it's also going to be an opportunity for us to just touch base with you and figure out, hey, what is it that you really like about the video solution? And then maybe if there's anything that you would like to see for a future release, that is information that we are happy to take back to our product team and give them some updates on maybe something else that we can add into the video tool piece in a future iteration. Last but not least, feel free to reach out if you have any questions at all, and you can reach out to your commercial contact at SHL. So that would be the person that helped you get set up, sent you the 60-day offer trial via email and got you kind of the ball rolling. Feel free to reach out to them if you have any additional questions. We're happy to assist at any time. Again, thank you again for taking us up on this offer, and we hope it is of help to your institution. Thank you.